Why is it that so many people seem to never be making progress in their life year in and year out? And in fact, a lot of people seem to be regressing each and every year. Typically, the situation is a lot of people are either staying at the same place, moving a little bit ahead, or regressing. And this could be in all areas of their life. It could be in a particular one. For example, their finances staying the same or kind of going a little up or a little down from year in to year out, their health, their relationships, and so on. But what if I told you that this doesn't have to be the case, and that by switching up your approach, you can start taking quantum leaps in your development and achieve in a month more than most people achieve in years? Truly, you can learn to take quantum leaps in your life in all of those areas while other people are struggling just to make little bits of progress if they even make it that far. You see, a lot of people are focusing on the wrong things. They are busy, maybe being productive or what's called productive. They're working hard, and yet it seems that the only thing they're getting better at is being stressed out. A lot of the time, they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing, that they just have to do these tasks. And again, even if they do manage to complete a lot of it, it doesn't seem to move the needle forward for them that much at all. Almost none of these tasks are optimized to take them in the direction they wish to go in or to get to the life they're looking to live. Almost never. And so in this video, I'm not only going to give you a formula that's going to help you become crystal clear on where it is you want to go and some systems that are going to help you to do this, but we're going to go over how you can utilize that system, some practical tools that allow you to achieve more than you've ever achieved before. And when I say achieve, we're not talking in the hustle, grind, work your fingers to the bone kind of way, but in a way with where what you're doing is optimized. So each action you do take goes much further than dozens of actions you would have taken in the past combined. Ultimately, it will allow you to build momentum in a direction you actually want to move in and produce some incredible results in your life. So without further ado, let's jump into how this works, what you're going to do. And this is again, complete formula that's used by some of the most successful people. This has been used in secret societies dating back to a very long time ago, where they use these to achieve their goals. It's very simple, but still so many people are unaware of it or don't use it. So let's jump into how to do it. Now, if you would really like to commit to the process of lasting transformation in your life, to being able to create your reality in the ways that you want, then you can check out our reality creation coaching program, where you can work with me much closer through the first link down in the description. Everything you're going to learn here in this video, you'll learn in more depth, combined in a proven system that gets people results. I mean, we see people get results in as little as a month, sometimes even sooner. So if that's interesting to you and something you would like to check out more about, again, first link down below. So one of the biggest reasons that most people are not getting the results they want, and like we said, they might get little itty bitty results. For example, someone might be making, say, $60,000 a year and get a little bit of an increase to $63,000. And we usually celebrate this as a big win, and I'm not knocking it. We should still be appreciative for it. But there really is no reason, if you were to use what we're going to go over today, that 60K couldn't jump to 80 or 100 or even beyond, depending on how much you utilize this system. These kind of quantum leaps are unfamiliar to us because most of us don't know people who have done it. And yet, if you really look out there, there are those who have done it, and they follow a very simple system to do it. And the first thing we need to do in order to allow for this to happen is you have to know what we call your North Star. What direction do you want to move in? A lot of people are directionless. They're like a ship out at sea with no captain and crew on it, just being thrown around by the waves and by the current. They are at effect rather than at cause in their life. A great analogy that explains this is the train ticket booth analogy. And so imagine that there's this universal train station and this ticket booth, right? And so this train at this station will take you anywhere. There's infinite possibilities. And at the ticket booth, there's infinite tickets of where that they can take you. And the goals and whatever it is that you want to achieve, everything exists and you could choose any of them. But how most people approach life is they go up to the ticket booth, the person there says, "Hello, where would you like to go? What do you want? What are you looking to do here?" And the person goes, "I don't know, but I want to get out of here. Give me a ticket to not here." And then quizzically, the booth attendant just looks at him and goes, "Well, I can't give you a ticket to not here, but I can certainly give you a ticket to somewhere. Where would you like to go? What are you aiming for here? Just say the word and I'll give you a ticket and you'll be on your way." And again, most people double down, just focusing on their current circumstances, complaining about them, keeping their focus on them, continually watering that seed so it grows bigger and bigger, and say, "Well, I don't know where I want to go. I just know that I don't want to be here." And this brings up a quote from one of my mentors that I absolutely love, and it's, "Complaining about your current circumstances is the glue that keeps you stuck to them. And so the more you complain about them, the more you're just in it. And you're not actually making the intentional conscious choice to select or decide where you want to go. Now in this video, I'll give you a process in how you can start to do this. You may not even know, as you're watching this, where you do want to go. But we're going to do something that actually gets into the depths of you, extracts this out so you do get a clear idea, because everyone does have something. If you haven't been thinking about it, or you haven't done exercises like this, you might think, well, I don't really want anything. I don't want to go anywhere. It's typically not true. And so we're going to go through an exercise that's going to help you to unearth this and uncover this for yourself. For some of you, it might just be deep down. And because, again, you get lost in the minutia of the day, or you're busy being busy, you don't take the time to really contemplate, well, what do I actually want and where do I want to go? So obviously, we need to actually select a ticket at this ticket station so that we can get on the train and start moving in the direction we want to go, rather than what most people do, which is, again, I have no idea. They don't have an aim. It's like they're trying to hit a dartboard with a dart, but there's no dartboard because there's no aim and there's nothing that they're focusing on. And this is why most people are taking directionless action. It's why they're busy being busy and all of these things, despite how much time and energy they put into it and feeling burnt out at the end of the day. So I must be putting in the work. No matter what they do, they don't get any closer because there really is nothing for them to get close to, because they haven't selected or chosen where they'd like to go. An analogy I really love that we cover deeply in Maxit is the idea of the inner garden. So a lot of people, one reason that they fail to get many results is because they have the equivalent of 100 seeds in this inner garden that they're trying to give their attention to and water. And so they're going from one seed to the next seed to the next seed, trying to nurture and grow all of them, but they only have enough attention or water and nurturing power for one seed. But they're going around trying to water 100 seeds, they're being busy, they're just trying to do a million different things, and nothing grows because nothing is getting the attention and focus it needs, the energy, the water it needs, the sunlight in order to grow. You're split focused all over the place. And again, you might not even know why you're watering half these seeds. You're like, if you really took a step back and looked at one of them that you're watering, you're going, wait, why am I watering this? What benefit is this to me? Why am I focusing on this? A lot of times we just get into habitual action and we're watering things and trying to nurture things that we don't even really want. And so we want to set it up so that we're actually watering what's going to be the best seed for you that's going to grow in your life. And don't worry, even if you're focusing on one, which is the aim here, which we'll get into, it will produce more than what you think, right? A lot of times when you focus on one and it grows, there are byproducts to that coming into your life, which we will cover later. So that being said, we need to choose a train ticket from the booth. We need to develop a dream. Again, a lot of people don't have a dream. They don't know what their dreams are. And so today you're going to get the chance to uncover this for you. And so I'm going to give you an exercise that we give our clients. I'm going to give you kind of a shortened version so you can get a taste of this. You can do it longer if you want, but if you've never done this before, it might be a bit much to do so. So I'll give you basically less time than we usually do with the clients. But again, there's nothing stopping you going longer if you want to. And the way this is going to work is we're going to do what's called a hot pen technique. You see, with a dream, we don't want your mind involved. If you did a dream and you were thinking about it, like what would be a good dream and blah, 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 your mind is only going to be able to operate from what's already in your life and the known. It can only piece together kind of things in your life that are already there. So it cannot tap into possibilities or potentialities, where with a dream, we absolutely want to do that. We want to think and aim for something that's not currently here. We want to aim for something that you actually have no idea how to get it. And don't worry, the how will present itself later. But if you're doing this in a way where the mind keeps getting involved, it's going to sabotage you, because you'll start thinking of something that the mind thinks is unrealistic and go, you can't do that. Or what would your mom think of that? What would your friends think? They'll think you're silly. You've never done that before. All of these things start to come in. This exercise is purely a heart-based exercise, and we don't bring the mind in yet. So like I said, the way we're going to do this is a hot pen technique. So this is very simple. So on a blank sheet of paper, you're going to start writing out your dream, and you're going to set a timer, and we're going to give you 10 minutes to do this. And you're going to write this out, but you're not allowed to stop writing. So imagine that whenever you stop writing and you go to think, the pen gets hot, and it burns your hands until you start writing again. Right? And so what this does is if you keep writing, even if you can't think of anything, and you just keep writing and go, I can't think of anything, nothing's coming up, and just wait for that flow to continue, but don't engage your thinking mind, what's going to happen is something from the inner depths of your being is going to start becoming uncovered. You're not analyzing things, you're going to go beyond the mind here, you're going to be able to go deep. And one way you know this has worked very effectively is when you go back and read what you wrote, and you're like, I don't even remember writing this. Do you know why you don't remember writing this for the most part? because your mind wasn't engaged. You weren't thinking about it. You weren't analyzing it. So there are things that were able to come through that were beyond the mind without the mind sabotaging or limiting it or judging it. So you can pause the video to do this if you wish, or do it afterwards. Again, I would highly encourage that you do this exercise. Knowing and not doing is the same as not knowing. If you really want your dreams and the things in your life, actions express priorities. And so if you're not willing to take 10 minutes to map out your dream or start thinking about it, you're never gonna get your dream. You're never gonna get things that are beyond the current life that you're living. And so I would highly recommend that you go and do this exercise. Either pause now or come back later, and I'll give you a chance to pause now if you would like to do it in this moment. Okay, welcome back. Now, if you have already done it, make sure you keep this dream in a place where you're gonna be able to see it, and we're gonna add something to it. But ultimately, everything we put and everything we do today, you wanna make sure you're looking at it often, but we'll go over that later. Now we're gonna move into something called the DCA, which is a huge component of this as well, so let's jump into that. So the DCA, which also stands for Definite Chief Aim, is a term that was coined by Napoleon Hill, or popularized by him. I'm not sure if he was the first to present this idea. I think he was, but he certainly popularized it through his book Think and Grow Rich and the 16 Laws of Success, if I'm getting that title right, that he produced actually before Think and Grow Rich, which is actually the more complete version before it kind of got censored by Henry Ford, and there's a whole thing with that kind of stuff. So if you want the complete version of Think and Grow Rich, go get the Laws of Success in 16 lessons, or 17 lessons, it's that one, which includes everything. Now, Napoleon Hill said about the DCA, when he discovered this, because he was commissioned by Andrew Carnegie to go out and study some of the most successful people at the time, the people like Edison, like Ford, and so on. And he discovered that amongst all of them, they had this thing called a DCA, which I believe, again, he coined. So maybe they weren't calling it that, but he realized, yeah, they're all doing this thing. I'm going to coin it a DCA. And so he started doing it himself. And he is quoted as saying something along the lines of, it worked so quickly when he did this that it actually frightened him, because he was so taken aback by how fast this began to work when he applied it. So a DCA, or Definite Chief Aim, is something that you're gonna look at your dream and you're gonna ask, what is the best next logical step? What is the next move for me to focus on, kind of bigger move that is going to allow me to move closer to the dream. Now, this is a bit different than when we set up the dream, because although the dream is just about the heart and getting in that flow, the DCA now brings the mind in so that we can have the mind and the heart. This is what Napoleon Hill called the sweet spot. This is what you want to try and aim for when it comes to your DCA. It should hit this sweet spot. And so what the sweet spot is it's something that feels good and feels exciting to you. So that's coming from the heart, like you would with the dream. You should feel really excited about your dream, right? So it's something like that. But it's also something your mind can buy into. Now, what does your mind can buy into really mean? It means it 100% believes that you can achieve this DCA. Because if there's any doubt at all from your mind that you can achieve this, your heart might still be excited about it because it sounds cool, it's aligned, it's the direction you want to go in. But if your mind has doubt and doesn't believe it's possible, it is going to sabotage you at every turn as you go to achieve this. It's like you're watering the seed and the mind just kind of takes the watering can away from you and stops you from feeding the seed, which means it can never grow. And so you need to choose something that you believe you can achieve while also exciting you. Now, this might take a little bit to feel out for what this is, so you can come up with a few potential DCAs. Now, another thing that can help with this is to set a time frame. Now, you do not need to do this, but I have found this personally very helpful. The reason this is helpful is because it gives the mind something to latch onto and gives it this kind of parameter for whether it's going to be believable or not, right? So can I hit this in this amount of time, or do I think I can't? So it helps you to determine if it's something you are confident in and believe in versus something that you're not. So usually with a DCA, we aim for 6 to 12 months. But ideally, and this is important, you choose something that you 100% believe that you can achieve before 6 to 12 months. We're just using that as a guide and the parameters to help us set this up. So you choose something that would move you closer to your dream, right? It's moving in that direction. So you have a captain and crew on the ship. It's like a checkpoint on the way to your dream, a checkpoint up the mountain. The mountain, let's say peak, is the dream, and it's checkpoint on the way up, where you make base camp and you then discuss what the next one's going to be or whatever else. And then you would just make a new DCA. That would be a new checkpoint. It's something that excites you. It's something that you believe 100%, not 50%, not 90%, not even 97%, but 100% that you can achieve. And again, if you don't have that 100% belief, You're going to ruin all the momentum. And when you have momentum on your side, things begin to happen quickly. Now, when I work with people on this, a common, we'll say, protest of choosing something they can believe is, well, I thought I had to aim for the stars and I'll land upon the moon. You know, if I only achieve that, it's only going to be a small thing that I'm going to believe I can achieve. And I get this. But here's the kicker. Once you achieve this DCA, which you absolutely will if you do this right and then just take the right actions and just follow through, you make a new one. And guess what happens when you hit a DCA? Your believability, your belief in yourself, your confidence skyrockets. It doesn't just usually go up by a little bit. It skyrockets. And so your next DCA, I promise you, is going to be much bigger, and you're still going to be able to genuinely sit there and go, I 100% believe that I can hit this. So let me give you an example. Let's say it's financial, because this is an easy example to do. Let's say you have a dream and it involves money, right? It involves a DCA, a good DCA towards this dream would to be to hit a certain dollar amount. This is always a good one to have, by the way, because it's very measurable, right? So let's say your DCA, the first one you come up with is, I would really love to hit $10,000 in a month. And let's say that's very exciting. Your heart's very excited about them. Like, that would be amazing. And we could do all these different things. That would certainly get me closer to my dream. I would invest it here and here, which will help me get closer to this, whatever else it is, right? But then your mind looks at that and goes, ooh, I don't really know if we can do that. We've never done that before. That doesn't seem achievable, blah, 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 or whatever else it is. Let's say that's the place you're in. Well, if we just set a lower amount, so let's say 7,500. Let's say you're at 5,000 a month and you want to go to 7,500. Well, to your heart, this is still exciting. Like, yeah, no, there's still plenty of things we could do with that. You know, it's definitely going to be an upgrade. I'm very excited to do that. And now let's say your head is like, you know what? That's not too far from where we are. I believe we can do this. Actually, I 100% believe that we can do this. Okay, I feel really good about this. Let's do that. And you set that goal for 7,500. Well, what you're going to find is, as long as that mind is still bought into that, there's no doubt being thrown in, as long as you follow some of the other things we're going to go over here, you're going to hit that goal very, very quickly. I've had DCAs, I've done the financial part of it, and I do it for other things. I've done it for other things too, is I've had ones where it's been like that, where I wanted to get to 10K, say, and I knew that I didn't believe I could. So instead of just putting that there and hoping and wishing it would happen, I made it a lower amount. I had to kind of, swallow my pride a little bit, because I'm like, I want to aim bigger. But I just made it a little less. And I think at first I aimed for like 1,000 or 2,000 more than I had made the previous month. I hit it pretty quickly. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm building some momentum, getting confident. Made it a little bit more. I hit it pretty quickly. And then I made it a little bit more. A little bit more from that point was already 10K. Believed it and hit it. And all of this was done in less than 6 months. And so I actually hit multiple DCAs before that time frame that put me to that 10K, and my confidence grew like crazy. And then I doubled it from there. I went from 10K to 20K as my next DCA when I was following in that fashion, doing it for a financial one, right? And so that's how quickly it can begin to build. But if you don't build up that momentum and you're stubbornly sticking to something you know you don't believe, but you're trying to convince yourself you believe it because I gotta aim so high, you're gonna have a really hard time getting there. You're gonna be, again, sporadically watering that seed of the DCA, and it's just not going to grow. So please make sure you select something that, again, is exciting, but also that you believe. Use the parameters, 6 to 12 months, ideally before then. Again, what would be the best next goal, step, whatever, towards my dream? What would be the next checkpoint? And then create that for yourself. Again, you can hot pen this and then go back and analyze it, again, because we want the mind involved to make sure it's aligned, and then choose one that hits that sweet spot for you. As long as it hits the sweet spot, and you do, again, some of the other things we're going to go over, it's almost impossible not to hit this. But the important thing is setting it up so it is hitting that sweet spot. And seriously, this works so incredibly well. In fact, I want to show you that it doesn't just work for me. You know, I have clients who have gone through this and it works phenomenally well for them. So I want to put in a clip from one of my clients, Tyson, who actually used this financially and had a 20K month through doing it. So, you know, again, we took him through our program. We helped him focus in on the DCA, get all of this right, help him when he went off course and, tried to, do more than one and all these different things. And he had his most financially successful month very shortly after. So I'll play that real quick.
Okay, so let me just say this shit's working, like, big time. I went from being on the back roads to the interstate. Everything's moving really, really fast. April was the most money I've ever made in my life. I made like $20,000 last month in 1 month. And then, like, I'm already off to $5,000 this month. So, like, this month's going really good too. Like, everything's falling into place right now. I've always wondered, like, when you go through something like this, how can this information be presented in a way? Those that recognize the mystery school will know, but those of us that get off on mysticism, it's there for us. But those of us that don't really want to go there, this program is set up just fine for them, for everyone too. So it's really, really intelligent. Everything's changing. Everything's moving very quickly. The past couple of weeks have been just extremely eventful. Now I'm in a relationship where, bam, we're meeting exactly in the same spot. Nobody's insecure. It's really a beautiful thing. I'm kind of mind blown right now. This is where it's at. Those of us that have found ourselves here, this is so cool that we found ourselves here and that we're doing this.
Right? And that's some of the results that can come when you actually follow this process. And I want just to really nail this point home, or to really drive this point home. Here's Brian, another one of our clients who went through the system with us. And again, we really helped him to focus and to concentrate. And when he wavered and when he had doubts and confusion, like, we were able to help get him shored up and focused. And he had some phenomenal results. So I'll play that as well.
Yeah, right. I just want to kind of give my overall summary real quick with a positive confirmation that was huge for me on Wednesday. Laying this foundation is like, oh my God, I'm so excited for this course. I do have like a background studying, Egyptian or Eastern mysticism. Gosh, the richness of this content, I'm super thankful to be a part of. And I had 4 positive confirmations with business in one evening right after this. So I had a really stressful listing that I'm selling that I thought for sure it's falling apart. There's no way this is going to close. The buyers want the moon. It's not going to happen. We put our foot down. They signed. We're going to closing. I had $1 million offer on one of my listings that's been sitting for 90 days. The seller's been hurting because it's a tough market. That's under contract now, closing in January. I had one of my investor clients get back off the fence saying, we're ready to buy a duplex now. I had one of my favorite past clients move to Florida last year saying, I hate Florida. I'm coming back. I'm buying a new place. You're my agent. So 4 things at once in the evening, right after that, was just undeniable. Super exciting. But I sold 2 of my biggest deals ever during this course, 1.25 million. And I attracted them effortlessly.
Yeah.
It was more than just those, all the little ones too. I feel like there's been way less of a fearful grind. I think I come from personal development, and then I go into spirituality, and then went through the whole spiritual circus, and then settled into what is called non-duality. And then I watched Peter and you kind of tie in non-duality to business and personal development, and just a mature angle that I didn't have before, because I was like, no, there's something wrong with this. And we call it buy me now. But everything since then, since that moment of, it's been a lot of little moments that are guiding me with that awareness that it wasn't like one thing. But, after attracting a few really big property deals and selling 1.25 million, and they're ranting and raving how good of a job I did, and you go through those experiences and you see yourself in that new way. But a lot of good things came from it, man. But really, it was just the satisfying experience of doing it all. I feel like I really, really tried to do it all. I tried to read every single book in the time frame that I could do. I spent so much time on that Mind movie. It's like I feel like I put the effort in, so I'm proud of being a student through it. I'm proud of having done it.
Now, one thing I want you to particularly pay attention to what Brian said is he said it started happening easily and effortlessly. Yes, because he had so much momentum behind what he was doing, and he was doing the work and following the process. What you will notice is when you are doing this, you don't even need to hustle and grind and work 16-hour days. Now, if you thoroughly enjoy doing that, then do it. But you will notice that you start getting results by doing less. Again, because these are more calibrated actions you're going to take when you have a dream in DCA lined up. Suddenly, everything you do when you do this correctly is now moving towards that. It's like having, if you're throwing a million things against the wall, like most people are, hoping something will stick. This is like throwing just a few things and something already sticks, because it's much more calibrated and aligned action. And so for Brian, he got all of those things coming through, and it was effortless. It was enjoyable. And so I mentioned that to kind of give you an idea of how well and effectively this can work. Now for you, again, please select one DCA. Some of you will be tempted to select 3 or 10 or whatever else. And even though I'm going to give this warning, some of you will still do it. But for those of you who are really paying attention here and want to do this properly and actually get results, choose one. One seed in the garden that you're focusing on. Don't make it 3, don't make it 5, 1. So a couple more parts of this process that I'm going to give you, and that's the daily action steps. Now this is very simple. You just review your dream, you review your DCA, and then you go, what is the daily action I need to take that's going to move me closer to my DCA? And by moving closer to your DCA, you move closer to your dream, right? So it all kind of flows down and streams down from the dream itself. But you need to ask yourself, what are the priorities, the daily action steps? And again, it might be different from each day. Sometimes it might be the same. But each day you're going to ask, today, what is the most aligned action I can take that moves me closer to my DCA? What is the next logical step that will move me down that path, that will get the captain and crew to move in that direction towards my DCA? And you focus on these actions. And again, you don't need to take 20 actions or whatever. Just have a couple, have a few. You can even do it as they come up. So take one action and then ask yourself again, okay, now that I've done that, what's the best next action from this place that will move me towards my DCA? A great quote to keep in mind is you don't need to know your next 5 or 10 moves. Just know the next one. And the thing is, after you take that one, some more things might be revealed that would have changed the next action you would have taken anyway. Each one of these actions is like, again, pouring more water on the seed that you have planted. It's starting to grow each time you do this, and momentum starts to build because you're keeping your focus in a particular direction. And so the energy doesn't just add, it multiplies exponentially the more you keep your focus here. So it's not like 1 + 1 = 2 + 1 = 3. It's like basically going to go to 11. 111 is just going to keep multiplying exponentially as you do this. The energy builds quickly and provides a ton of momentum towards your dream and your goals. In our program Max It, we actually have a framework we take people through that help them to do this. It's a printout that we take them through, and then we kind of coach them through it, have sessions to make sure they're getting it all right. But what we're ultimately trying to do with that is give them something that keeps them focused on that seed. Because it's so easy to get distracted, and now you're back to trying to plant 100 seeds, you're going over here, you're going over there, you've abandoned the original seed and the thing you wanted to do. And so it allows you, when you just look at your dream, your DCA, choose the action steps and prioritize those, it makes it so you're aligned and lined up, sending all of your energy and focus to that, which allows it to grow so quickly. And again, in the words of Napoleon Hill, or paraphrasing, it can happen so quickly, as in your DCA comes about, that it frightened him. Now, there's one last thing I need to mention, because this is like putting super grow on the seed that you are planting. And this is the idea of feel good now. Ultimately, if you're feeling terrible as you're going about this, it's like weeds are growing up all around your seed and strangling it out. Right? But when you feel good, and by feeling good, what we're talking about is being in a higher frequency, a higher vibration, higher level of consciousness. You're experiencing things like joy and peace and bliss and wisdom and willingness and acceptance and courage. If you were to look at the Hawking scale of consciousness, it would be anything from 200 above. If you learn how to be there more often than not, it's like putting super grow on your seed, and things will start to come in faster. I know it sounds bizarre, but I've seen it happen way too many times, 100% across the board, to know or to speak against it or to not believe it. It 100% works. It's worked in my life, my clients' life. When they get to the point when they're feeling good now or feeling better now, you don't have to always feel good, but just try and recover. You'll notice that these things start coming in faster. You'll notice you're more confident, more momentum starts to build, and more changes start to occur in your life. Again, where you are achieving things in a month that some people take years, if even they get there, if you do this whole formula. So again, you now have something that you can utilize and go out there and do. Now, speaking of feeling good now and some of the other things that are going to help you pour super grow on the seed, I would recommend you go watch this video next, because this is ultimately what it's going to do. This video right here has helped you plant the seed, create the direction, and start you on that journey. This is what's going to propel you down that path faster and faster.